Hurricane Earl is threatening Bermuda, Hurricane Danielle's moving out to sea, and Hurricane K is threatening the Baja. Hello, I'm Mike Nasel with this nighttime video update on the tropics. You can see the tropical outlook right now in the Atlantic. There's Hurricane Earl, the second hurricane of the 2022 season, and it is forecast to become a major hurricane, the first of the year, a Category 3 or higher, at least a Category 3, maybe even a Category 4, and it's going to get pretty darn close to Bermuda before turning on out. Danielle is off the screen here. It's so far north you can't see it. We do have two features we're watching. This is a moderate chance for development. It's looking much better organized. And then we have a good wave leaving Africa, and this could be a problem down the road for land masses. And we'll talk about K as well. Here's the latest on Hurricane Earl as of 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Hurricane Earl was at 24.8 north, 65.8 west, winds of 80. It's moving north at 7, and the forecast is for a northward motion, very slow through Wednesday and Thursday, and then it's going to start to hook right and move slowly, very close to Bermuda. But it's close enough to where we now have a tropical storm watch in effect for Bermuda, because you can see the wind field here as it expands. It might get larger as the hurricane strengthens. It is expected to clip Bermuda, but be a major hurricane. So it's going to be a Category 3 or 4, very close to Bermuda, so you guys want to be on alert, have your hurricane plans ready just in case Earl comes close to you. After that, Earl should move on out, and we won't have to deal with it. Here's the infrared satellite imagery, and this is clearly a depiction of a strengthening but sheared hurricane. It's bursting, but you can see how it's kind of flat here. It's still being sheared, so it's not a great environment. You're not seeing the fanning out like that on all quadrants and outflow on the western side. So this deep convection's allowed it to become a hurricane, but only a Category 1. But as it starts to push into a more favorable environment off towards the north, we should see intensification. Now, the key messages with Hurricane Earl: number one, even though it's forecast to pass southeast of Bermuda, like I said, that wind field should grow, and the tropical storm force winds will potentially spread on the island as early as Thursday. And number two, swells are expected to reach Bermuda by Thursday, and that could cause life-threatening surf and rip conditions through Friday. Consult your local weather office. Remember, if you get caught in a rip current, let it take you out a bit. Swim up the beach or down the beach. Don't try and swim against it. But again, that's expected to be a threat. I would stay out of the water if I were in Bermuda with what is predicted to be a Category 3 hurricane offshore. That is serious stuff. Now, here's the computer forecast models, and you can see they're in pretty good agreement. They trended west a little bit, very close to Bermuda, and then a turn off to the northeast, and then they go anywhere from Greenland all the way to France to Morocco. I mean, this is Morocco, Gibraltar. I mean, it's hitting places like you wouldn't even know. So this is not a deep tropical island hurricane. This is going to be way out there in the North Atlantic, much like Hurricane Danielle. Here's the latest on Hurricane Danielle as of 3 a.m. Greenwich time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern time. Danielle was at 42.7 north, 39.3 west. Winds of 75, had been up to 90. It's been slowly winding down, but it has a real fat tire look to it, and those take a long time to spin down. Moving east-northeast at 13, so it is starting to accelerate, but it is forecast to weaken, but then do this little curlicue loop and start heading in the general direction of Portugal. So again, I'm used to Jamaica, I'm used to Key West, I'm not used to Portugal and Gibraltar and Morocco. So these hurricanes so far this year are anomalously far north, and I don't know if that has to do with the anomalously warm water in the North Atlantic or if it's just a coincidence. We'll see. There's the wind field. If any winds come close to land, it would probably be the Azores. That's kind of actually, now that I look at that profile, that's kind of a weird shape to it. It kind of looks like a snail or something. But yeah, that's the wind field that's expected to still remain over water. So right now, the Azores, you are not likely to get tropical storm winds, and neither is areas there of Europe. But again, watch it, because these systems could become very powerful extratropical cyclones. You can see the fat donut tire shape it has. This thing's going to take a while to wind down. It's going to be with us a while. Hurricane Danielle. Now, here's the GFS ensembles, and you can see they bring another system, that wave we're watching, and generally turn it out. However, of greater concern is possible development in the western Gulf of Mexico, and this wave leaving Africa right here, further south. And watch this line right here, this purple line I'm drawing. A lot of them, well, it's red. I don't know, it's not purple, it's not agreeing with me. You can see some of the models here on the GFS want to bring this system much further west. And you can see the ridging here, it keeps our first system turning, but then it builds in more, and we have a more westward moving cyclone. So this would be the system leaving Africa in a day or so. Here's the European ensemble, same thing. Here comes our next system, turns on out. Here comes a new system, and then another one behind that. But watch this system here. Look at that. Taking a westward curve there towards Puerto Rico, the Northern Islands, and potentially a threat to land masses further west. And it also shows the European, shows some Gulf activity. So our next names are Fiona, Gaston, Hermine, and Ian. So could this be Fiona, and this be Gaston, and this be Hermine, and this be Ian? Absolutely. And this would be by September 16th in 10 days. So again, like I said, don't let your guard down. We are in the heart of hurricane season. And when we look off Africa, there's our first system. This would be the one the models want to take up and out, but it could be a name stealer. And then this wave here is the one I'm a little bit concerned about. It is further south, and then we have more off over land that we're going to watch. But look at this little, do you see the curly Q here? I don't like that. And even though there's not much right now, it is possible this one could come under the radar and do something. It is that time of year. And you can see that even better here on this satellite. This system's looking better organized. There's Hurricane Earl. Danielle's off the screen here. But this is the wave I'm concerned about. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing. But the GFS and the European ensembles want to take this one more in this direction, while the ones we've been watching have been heading more out. So that's why my eye is on that one right there. We're going to watch it very, very carefully over the coming days. Hurricane K. We've been watching K. K is a hurricane with 90-mile-an-hour winds moving northwest at 13 in the eastern Pacific. It's at 19.5 north, 111.7 west. And it is a threat to land. We do have watches and warnings out. We have a hurricane watch from Puerto Cortes to Punta Eugenia. And then we have a tropical storm warning. I'm going to try my best here, guys. From Punta Abarejo southward to Cabo San Lucas, and then from Cabo San Lucas northward to Santa Rosalita. And then we have a tropical storm warning for north of Santa Rosalia to Bahia de Los Angeles. Bahia de Los Angeles, that's the Bay of Angels. And we also have a tropical storm, that's a tropical storm watch. We also have a tropical storm watch north of Punta Eugenia to San Jose de las Palomas. The point is, the Baja here is under the gun from Hurricane K. It's expected to get close to Category 3, so it could become a major hurricane right around Thursday and early Friday, right when it's making the close approach. You are in the cone of uncertainty for a possible landfall. That's why we have a hurricane watch. But it could also take the left edge of this cone and move further out, and we wouldn't have to have a direct hit. Nevertheless, heavy rainfall could lead to flash flooding, landslides, and that's for the Baja and mainland northwest Mexico through Friday. Tropical storm conditions, they're already expected over the Baja of California Peninsula beginning Wednesday morning, and we have the tropical storm warning in effect. And hurricane conditions are possible along the west central Baja California coast on Thursday. That's why they have the hurricane watch. They might need more watches and warnings throughout the day on Wednesday. Now there's the look at the rainfall. This is going to be a threat. Look at this, up to 6 inches, maybe more for a lot of the Baja, even going up there towards Southern California, the border there. So if you guys are in Yuma or San Diego, you might eventually get moist from K. Here's the satellite imagery, and you can see a beautiful eye there. It's very close to Socorro Island, and Socorro Island is actually populated by about 200 or so people who live and work on a naval base there. But it's out there in the middle of the Pacific. It's in a volcanic island. It blew its top back in '93. The hurricane is past that, and you can see K is taking that track closer to land. We're going to watch Hurricane K, and of course more on Earl.